Welcome to our South African roots. Hi guys, in case you didn't know, I'm doing a back to basics series and this is the next topic at hand. Let's start at the top. Open recruitment policies. Potential employees are tired of showing up to interviews only to find out that the company is unable to provide the salary required. This is because we are currently in South Africa don't have an open recruitment policy and tend to waste not only the business's resources but the person's being interviewed time. I know a large portion of us would prefer if salary ranges are included on every single job post and it is disclosed whether it is negotiable beforehand or not. Companies need to recruit more successfully and responsibly, paying people for what the position's workload entails and not what they feel the employee is worth. You cannot underpay staff and expect them to be happy and loyal to the companies they are currently employed with. A large portion of older generation cannot understand why the youth are constantly, in inverted commas, job hopping from one position to the next. This is because lower level staff are underpaid and appreciated and perform high quantities of work meant to be done by management. Companies have also reduced the yearly increases in December shutdown bonuses. Employees are not happy, so why would they stay with companies that are not providing enough money for them to maintain a stable environment at home and provide for their families? I would think providing an environment where employees are more valued will create a more willing workforce where they are not just leaving companies because of large workloads, but because when they are adequately compensated by these positions, they are more willing to work with these large workloads. Which brings me to my next point, minimum wages. I've previously discussed this in another segment, but it's coming up again and I'm going to discuss it now again. Minimum wages. Many of the trade positions within South Africa are standardized per sector. If you look at the online wages suggested for multiple positions, you will see that they are incorrect and mostly overinflated. Very few people earn the salaries as depicted by pay scales, and many salaries barely cover the basic necessities within a family structure. A good couple of years ago, people were able to earn pennies when starting off in jobs, and they were okay with that because those pennies were able to provide for entire families. But that is no longer the point. I'm not saying it is the company's responsibility to overpay employees. However, I do find that the higher up the corporate ladder you go, the heads or mains are being paid outlandish salaries in comparison to the ground floor workers. And let's be honest, guys, those management are not always working that hard. Preventing one manager from earning a Christmas bonus may provide Christmas bonuses for an entire department. One can argue that managers take on more risk and more responsibility, therefore require more reward, and that's fine, I can agree. They are more educated in certain circumstances and deserve to be compensated fairly. This doesn't reduce from the fact that employees also need to earn enough to, in today's society, not yesterday's society, provide for expenses, and even the guys at the top who all wear all the expensive stuff within today's society will know that they would not be able to provide for their families on some of the salaries they are paying their employees. I'm not going to assume that these minimum wages are meant to be set at what goals, and I'm aware that some people will be above these minimum wages already, which is fine. If people are already earning more than what the minimum wage is going to be set at, that's fine. But it's a target to work towards whereby people are paid fair wages that are not coping. This will not have to apply to every single industry. If this is decided to be implemented, the first place I would implement it is actually within a governmental organization that the people are going to create, which is in my Little Villages model. So if you go look at my Little Villages model, you will find that information. I would restructure and change the compensation rates of the government employees, looking at state salaries and the spending within the higher brackets, to evaluate where reductions can be done on the higher levels so that on ground levels people can be paid accordingly. Once again, these are just my suggestions to create a happier and healthier society where people are more inclined to work and want to participate in creating a functioning, efficient economy. Education. This hasn't always been a top hot topic for governments. Everyone wants to get involved in education. Everyone has an idea how education must work, what the best education system is. Everyone wants to jump hands-on into education the minute they get hired into governmental positions. The minute they become president, they're redoing the entire education system to find out who can give the most efficient way to educate young citizens to becoming fully functioning independent members of society. This is a topic out of my realm of expertise, and I think the best people to discuss this with would be the teachers. But the teachers within our nation have been neglected and underpaid, or alternatively, not paid at all. We expect teachers to be excited and put forward their best foot when educating our youth, but we have not had their backs. I would suggest before approaching teachers with wanting to fix or reintroduce any type of new schooling system, you beforehand ensure that they've been paid appropriately for months prior to expecting any changes, and start supporting them and protecting them against students that are so disruptive and turn into disruptive adults who misbehave within the working environments. We are currently breeding misbehavior at work, and we are creating environments that breed misbehavior in school. Teachers need to be noticed, and they need to be fairly provided for before they can provide for our children. When you are circling back around to education, my suggestion is that you focus on STEM-based education. But instead of STEM, I'm going to say STEAM. A lot of education systems right now are not really very much into real-world, hands-on application. Education is not always meant to be practical and used on a daily basis, but just to ensure that they should have the information should they need it and know how to do it is going to be a good thing to do. And this is the basics. Schools need to be fair, more practical, and encouraging school students to not be sitting in a classroom for hours on end, especially at young ages, so that they can be more creative and, in inverted commas, get all that energy out. Instead of STEM, I said STEAM. S for science, T for technology, E for engineering, A for agriculture, and M for maths. And this all needs to be practical. When looking at children's timetables, filling them in with more of the important subjects and less of the fluffy subjects, so that they have a firm grip on the basics within each and every single one of the 5 STEAM acronym that I just explained, can build upon a solid foundation going forward, so that they will have a solid foundation to build upon in the future years. Thanks for watching.